you know, if you ask somebody anywhere in the world, what do they think of when they think of Southern California? They might answer Hollywood first, and we've already seen some of the connections between Hollywood and aerospace. But second of all, they might think of, you know, the beaches and surfing, and Southern California surf culture. And Southern California is the epicenter of global surf culture today. And why is that? Well, part of the reason is that aerospace was here, and that aerospace really helped create or enable surfing to take root in Southern California. And the reason is some of these people who are building planes were also going out and surfing on the weekends, or they're hanging out with people who surf. So, for instance, going back to the 1920s, surfboards back then could weigh well over 100 pounds. It wasn't easy to lug a 100-pound surfboard down the beach. They turned to aircraft technology, specifically from hollow wings, hollow aircraft wings, to cut the weight down. They started making hollow surfboards. And some of the first people building these hollow surfboards were aircraft wing manufacturers. Later on, this specific surfboard comes out of World War II technology. A gentleman named Robert Simmons, Bob Simmons, who was a Caltech engineering student, studying engineering at Caltech, where he learned, among other things, hydrodynamics, in addition to advanced mathematics and physics. But he was also moonlighting at Douglas Aircraft across town. One of the reasons he liked moonlighting at Douglas on one of these graveyard shifts is that it left the daytime free to surf. So he ran across some of these new aircraft materials, specifically polystyrene foam, fiberglass, which was just coming into use in aircraft, and polyester resins, which were coming out of the chemical industry, but being used and manufactured, mass-produced for aircraft in World War II. Simmons ran across these materials, said, "Hey, those would make it, they're light and they're strong and they're waterproof," which are three things you want in a surfboard. So he started making surfboards out of these materials and applying at the same time some of these hydrodynamic principles he learned in his Caltech engineering classes, and revolutionized surfboard design. Probably the most important surfboard designer of the last century. And he's important because when you're no longer lugging a 70-pound surfboard to the beach, but your surfboard only weighs 20 or 30 pounds, you know, that makes surfing much more fun. You know, it's not fun getting bonked in the head by an 80-pound redwood board, but if you just can trot across the beach with one of these things under your arm, and by the way, when you get on the wave, it surfs 10 times better, it's more fun to surf. That makes surfing more accessible, more fun, and entices thousands of more Californians into the sport. Presence, the kind of what they call alternative space, alt space. You've got Bert, are both Caltech grads, and you know that applies for huge. These connections continue. So any of you who've seen a boogie board, you know, a little boogie board, you can buy them now in any sporting goods store. The inventor of the boogie board, Tom Moray, worked for, yes, Douglas Aircraft, after graduating from USC as a math major, and then he went to work for AVCO as a composites engineer, applied some of his composites chemical technology expertise to tinkering with surfboards, new fiberglass weaves, and then eventually invented the boogie board. And the windsurfer was invented by a RAND aerospace engineer too. So all these connections, and so these Southern California kind of icons, you know, surf culture, there are these intersections with aerospace. And the reason Southern California becomes an epicenter for surf culture is because of technologies like this make surfing more accessible and more fun. More people take it up, and California becomes Surf City.